Right, what's up you guys, and welcome back to the Progressive Skills in English Level 1 coursebook. In this video, we're going to be going over the speaking section for Theme 1. So let's dive right in. Here we have Exercise A, Previewing Vocab. Looks like we're going to be listening to, let me turn this off first. So listen to the words on the right and tick the correct column to show the number of syllables. Now, if you guys have taken this before, you know, the stress is going to be on different syllables. And obviously, these words either have one syllable, two syllables, or three syllables. We're going to tick, you know, the correct number of syllables for each word after we hear as we go along with the audio. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so these were the numbers of syllables in each word. And let me tell you, I'm going to go briefly over this because we've talked about this before. So a word like after, for example, it has two parts, af and then ter. So after, that's two syllables, okay? Children, same thing, chill and dren. Children, or children, okay? Level, again, lev and then l. Nursery has three. You have nur, sir, and then e. So nursery, three syllables. Primary, okay? Again, three. Secondary, or secondary, okay? So that's three syllables. Called, obviously call, and then led. So called, that's, called is one. Sorry about that. So called is just one continuous word. So you notice how when I try to, you know, make two syllables out of it, it didn't really work with me. So called, it's just one word. Exam, on the other hand, has two because eggs and then am. Exam, exam. Okay? School, one continuous word. Then you have sixth. So again, one continuous word, one syllable. Okay? So that was exercise A. Now let's move on to exercise B. We have B. Hearing a model, you're going to hear a short talk from a student to his study group at university. Listen to the first part of the talk and complete table 1 below. So before we listen to this, let's take a look at table 1. I'm going to turn this off. Okay, so table 1, education in the UK. Okay, so I want you guys to remember these questions as you're listening to the audio. So we're going to be probably listening to different types of school, the different age range for each one, and then the types of exams that students take at the end. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so that was an interesting talk about the education system in the UK or Britain. So let's start with the different types of schools. So first, obviously, you have nursery. and then the age range for that was from 3 to 5. Then we have primary after that, so primary school, and the age range for that was from 5 to 11, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 5 to 11. Okay, and then after that, you have secondary school, and that goes from 11 to 16. I'll come back to the exams in a second. So type of school, now we're on secondary from 11 to 16. And the final one, if you decide to take it, you have something called the sixth form, like so. Okay, and that goes from, lasts for 2 years, which is from 16 to, to 18. Okay, now let's take a look at the exams at the end of each type. So for nursery, you don't have any. This is just the beginning of life. And then for primary, in most schools, again, none. So we'll say most, and then I'll say none. But I'll say for a few of them, like a few different schools, we'll say for a few, and then I'll say maybe something like 11 plus. Okay? And for secondary, at the age of 16, students take exams called the Gcse's. Okay, and we'll go over these later on in the section. Sixth form, if students wish to keep going, they take exams called A-levels. Okay, so type of school, nursery, primary, secondary, and sixth form. Age range is from 3 to 5, 5 to 11, and then 11 to 16, and finally 16 to 18. And the exams, you have none. For most schools, none for primary, but if you do take the 11 plus, then you have GCSEs and A-levels. Okay, well, let's go to question 3. First of all, we're going to have to listen to the second part of the talk, okay? And we have to tick the schools that the speaker went to and the exams that he took. Okay, so now he's going to talk about things that happened to him, his own experiences. Okay, so get ready and let's go. Okay, so based on the talk that we just heard, it looks like he skipped nursery school and went straight to primary at the age of 5. So we'll tick primary. I can't tick it here for some reason, so you guys will have to tick it on your books. And then he went to secondary school, although he wasn't really that good at secondary school. And for the exams, he took GCSEs and he also took A-levels, but he didn't mention if he went to sixth form, this type of school. So we're not going to tick this. So we're going to tick primary, secondary, GCSEs, and A-levels. Okay? Now let's go to exercise or question 3. How does the student organize his talk? This is a very interesting question. So we'll simply start by saying the talk moves from the general, from a general perspective to a more specific as you go along. So we'll say the talk moves from general information to specific and personal information. Okay? And then we'll also add something along the lines of, wait, can I go? Yep, right here. So I'll say the information, sorry about that, information is given in chronological order. And what chronological order means is things simply went as you go along. So he's not talking about, secondary school first and then primary school and then sixth form and then nursery. No, everything is going in one specific order. This is basically what it means, okay? So how does the student organize his talk? The talk moves from general information to specific and personal information, and the information is given in chronological order. Okay? Now for exercise 4, we have which tense does he use in each part of the talk and why? We'll say that obviously he uses the present simple. If you guys go back and listen, he uses the present simple. So we'll say the present simple. Should I say tense? I'll say tense, whatever. Is used for the first part. Okay? Which is, between two brackets, I'll say GT, which is general information. Okay? And for the second part, we'll say, what was it? I think it was the past simple. So the past simple is used for the second part. And between two brackets, I'll just say SE as in, speaker's experience. Okay? Or his own experiences. So you don't have to write GT and SE. I'm just explaining the difference. So the present simple tense is used for the first part, and the past simple is used for the second part. Okay, let's move on. Let's take a quick look at the vocab box. Here we have exam, leave, school, nursery, primary, secondary, stay at school, and take exams. All right, now let's go to exercise 3, practicing a model. We're not going to be solving anything in this particular exercise. We're just going to be talking and understanding how to differentiate between the important words or phrases in each sentence here, and just in general. Okay, so let's listen to this first, and I want you guys to try and find out what are some of the important words or even phrases in these sentences. So here we go. Okay, so I hope you're able to differentiate between the important words or phrases, compared to the ones that obviously are not as important. So let me tell you, about 3 points that you have to focus on to find the more important words or phrases in each sentence, or simply when you're hearing someone talk. So a word that is stressed, obviously stressed means it's more important, when we're talking about words and someone's speaking. So stressed words are usually, you're going to hear them louder. So if I say something important right now or throughout my videos, you'll notice that when I want to focus on a particular word or a skills check, for example, my voice gets a little bit louder and I talk slower, as compared to me, for example, saying, welcome back, you guys, to the Progressive Skills. This is me giving you an introduction to the video. So I typically speak quickly. That means it's not as important. I'm just giving you an introduction. But obviously, as we start solving, I tend to go slower, which means, the words I'm saying are more important now. One more thing is higher in intonation. Notice how I said higher with a higher tone, okay, as compared to, if I'm reading something off of the book that is not as important, okay? So I cannot stress this enough. There are 3 main things. You have louder, when the speaker talks louder than usual. Obviously, he's not going to be shouting, as you can see right now. It's just going to be a little bit louder. Then you have slower, so I'll talk in a slower fashion, and obviously higher in intonation, okay? Now, words that are, not as important, you'll notice that I can talk quieter. I'll probably talk faster, like you can see in my intros if you go to any of my videos right now, and probably lower in intonation as well. Notice how I'm talking quickly to words that are unstressed. I tend to go faster when things are not as important, okay? So this was exercise C. This is how you guys find out stressed words and important words in sentences. So let's go to exercise. What else do we have? We're going to skip exercise D. Let's go to exercise A for the second page. Here we have activating ideas. What can you remember about these phrases? So these are phrases that we heard a lot in the first page, and I just want you guys to tell me what you know about the word nursery school, or the word Gcse, the sixth form, A levels, primary, and take an exam or make an exam. Okay, so let's take a look here. Nursery school. So what is nursery school, you guys? Now, obviously, you guys should have answered by now and said that, hey, it's a school for young children, particularly from people or children from the age of 3 to 5. Okay, so this is nursery school. What about GCSE? GCSE is basically an abbreviation for the British exam that is called General Certificate of Secondary Education. It's on the internet, by the way. You can go and look it up. And then we have the sixth form. And sixth form is, if I'm not mistaken, it is the exam, or not exam, it's the type of school that you go to once you finish your GCSE, so from the age of 16 to 18. And related to the sixth form, we have A levels. Okay, so what are A levels? A levels are, again, exams in Britain, and you take them at the age of 18 after you finish your GCSEs. Okay, what about the word primary? Notice how it says primary and not primary school, because if you say primary school, it's a whole different meaning. So the word primary here means first, okay? Which means that the word secondary means second. So remember that. The word primary itself means first, okay? If you ever play video games and it says primary gun, it usually just means it's your first gun. Your primary, the thing that you're going to use first. Okay, someone says, this is my primary microphone. This usually means that this is, the microphone that I use. It's the one that I rock with all the time. My secondary microphone, that means it's a microphone that is used as backup if something happens to my primary microphone. Okay, then we have take an exam and make an exam. Okay, so we use the verb take and not make when talking about exams. So I take an exam. I took the exam. Okay, so we use the verb take when talking about, we want to go and do the exam. Okay, now let's go to exercise B. Cover the conversations in exercise C. So it looks like we're going to be using the same conversations from exercise C here. Let's take a look here. Okay, look at the questions below. They're from conversations between students and tutors. What is the rest of the conversation in each case? Okay, listen to the conversations, number the sentences below 1 to 6 in the order you hear them. Okay, so we're going to be labeling each conversation or each question based on the number that we hear them here in the audio. So let's go. Okay, so that was exercise B, you guys. So we labeled them, and you can listen to the, or you can actually read or listen to the, the next part of each conversation by either, oh, sorry about that, by either going to exercise C and reading, or you could, back up the video a little bit and listen again if you're having trouble. Okay, I think we are done for the first part. This is obviously real-time speaking, and since we're all online at the moment, you can work in pairs, answer and ask questions similar to this part right here. But other than that, I guess it's best if we move on to the second or third page of this section. Okay, you guys, so now let's move on to exercise A. Here we have saying vowels. Looks like we have this transcript over here, and he wants us to underline different words with this vowel sound and then circle words with this particular vowel sound. So let me actually go to this particular web page that I found on the internet. You see the difference between these two words? So you have the word eat and it. So if you see this symbol right here, this resembles the vowel sound E. Okay, so this long E. So things like eat, feel, heap, sheep, leaves. Okay, all of these are have this particular vowel sound. Okay, what about this one? This I looking one. It only has an I, so it's usually written with an I, by the way, but it's pronounced as it. So think of it, fill, hip, ship, lives, sit, bit, his, list. This is how this vowel sound is pronounced. Okay, so it's written as I, but this is not an I. Okay, it's pronounced as it. This is a symbol. This is not I. Okay, so when you see these two dots next to an I, it's usually that long E sound. So E, fee, he, sheep. Okay, but that I looking one, it's pronounced as it. So it, fill, hip, etc. Okay, so now let's move on to the to exercise A. So these two dots, that means it's going to be E. So he wants us to circle the ones that have that E sound, and he wants us to underline the ones that have the it sound. Okay, so let's take a look. So we have Britain. That's the first one, has that I, and then Brit. Okay, so Britain has 4 kinds of school. They are nursery, primary, secondary, and sixth form. Notice how the word sixth form has that it sound. Okay, many, British again. Children is also has that it sound. Go to nursery school at 3. So now 3 is that, actually I'm going to circle this. So 3 has that E sound, or 4. Children, again, I'm going to underline that, do not take exams at nursery school. At 5, they move to primary school. Most primary schools are mixed. Mixed has that it sound. Okay, they stay there for 6. Again, 6. Okay, years, I'm gonna actually circle this. So years has that E sound, and then they move to secondary school. Most children, again, I'm gonna underline that, has that it sound, do not take exams at 11, but a few take the 11 plus exam. Secondary school lasts 5 years. Most secondary schools are mixed, has that it sound. Children, again, that it sound, take exams called Gcse's at the age of 16. You can leave, okay, has that E sound, school after your Gcse's, but many children stay at school for 2 more years. The last 2 years, again, are called the sixth form, 6. At the end of the sixth form, again, teenagers, teen has that E sound, take A-levels. You can leave school after A-levels, but 50% of Brit has that it sound. British teenagers go on to university. Actually, university has that it sound as well, but you probably won't notice it unless you get rid of the second part of the word. So unit. It's a little bit hard to explain, but I hope you get the idea. It has that it sound. I didn't go to nursery school. I started primary school at 5. I was good at primary school, and I liked the teachers. I didn't take the 11 plus exam. I went to secondary school. I wasn't very good there. I didn't like the teachers. Well, there was one good teacher. I took GCSEs and then A-levels. Then I decided to go to university. Again, university will be, I'll put an underline under that as well. Okay, so this was exercise A. Now let's move on to the second exercise. What do we have here? We have exercise B. Looks like we have a skills check, so let me take a look. I'm going to turn this off. Actually, before I do that, let me take a look at the skills check. So here we have organizing a talk. You must organize information in a talk in a logical way. So think about it this way. When you're talking, you can't be, talking in a non-logical way. So if I'm talking about, let's say, my life story, for example, I'm not going to start from when I was a teenager or from when I was in college, right? I got to start from the very beginning. I was a child, and then I grew up a little bit, and then I switched, I went from nursery school to primary school, for example, and then, over on and on and on. So I can't talk in a way that doesn't make sense. This is basically what logical means, okay? It's gotta have logic, okay? In the talk in lesson 1.3, the student wanted to describe education in general and his own education. So the best organization in English is using general facts and then using your own personal experiences. So you can't talk about personal experiences or your own before talking about general facts in a talk, okay? First, you got to state the general facts of the place that you're studying at. So in this case, it was Britain. And then you'll talk about your own personal experiences. Okay. Within each paragraph, the best organization is something called chronological order, which is going from the beginning to the last. So let's say, for example, we talked about how in Britain they have nursery, primary, secondary, and then sixth form. So I can't start talking about primary before nursery, right? It only makes sense that I start from the earliest and then move upwards to the latest. This is basically what chronological means. Okay? Now let's go to exercise 3 based on what we just said. Let me turn this off. Okay, so look at the extracts below from the talk about drama. In each sentence, G, which stands for general facts, or P, personal experiences. So is each sentence here a personal experience or is it a general fact? Put the G sentences in a logical order, something that's logical, something that makes sense, and put the P sentences in a logical order. Okay, so let me take a look here. Actually, let me go down here. So we have G and P. Okay, so this is going to be for all the general fact sentences, and this one's for all the personal ones. So let's take a look. I wasn't very good, but I had a lot of fun. Actually, let me leave this for a second. So drama is a very important subject. I'll start with this one. This is obviously a general fact. It has nothing to do with me, right? So drama is a very important subject. I'm just stating a fact. Okay, so drama is a very important subject. What's the second one? I can say this is logical. So children learn a lot about themselves in drama. Okay. I can go for most secondary schools in Britain have drama classes. Now, it kind of makes sense, you know what I mean? So drama is a very important subject. Children learn a lot about themselves in drama, and most secondary schools in Britain have drama classes. These are all general facts so far. What else do we have after this? I'll say some children take examinations in drama at GCSE or A level. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. No, there you go. So some children take examinations in drama at GCSE or A level. Okay. What about? I think that's about it. Because we did put how was the main? Yeah. So far there are no more general facts. So I'm gonna start now on the personal ones. So let's take a look. One is I'll say I took drama for GCSE, or yeah, I took drama for GCSE. I'll say we did a lot of drama games and we put on a play every term. Okay, 3, I'll say I was the main person in one of the plays. And then I'll say I wasn't very good, but I had a lot of fun. And finally, I got a good pass in the examination. So we have 4 general facts, and 5 personal facts, okay? So you start by saying drama is a very important subject. Children learn a lot about themselves in drama. Most secondary schools in Britain have drama classes, and some children take examinations in drama at GCSE or A levels. And then you move on to personal experiences, which is I took drama for GCSE. We did a lot of drama games, and we put on a play every term. And I was the main person in one of the plays. I wasn't very good, but I had a lot of fun. And finally, I got a good pass in the examination. Okay? So this was exercise B. Now let's take a look at the vocab box right here. So we have chronological. We just said what that means, starting from the earliest to latest. Drama, experience, logical, pass, play, and subject. Okay? Now let's take a look at exercise D. Again, one more skills check. Does it open it here? Okay, it does. So we have skills check 2, choosing the correct tense. So what we have here is you must choose the correct tense for each part of the talk. Okay, so when we're talking about general facts, we generally use the present simple. So think of the present simple as, are, is, learn, take, have, don't take, lasts. All of these are examples of the present simple. But when I'm talking about events that happened in the past, I can't use the present simple because, well, it's used for the present. So I'll switch that to, is becomes was, are becomes where, start becomes started, didn't take instead of take, for example. All of these, had, wasn't, got, all of these are examples of the past simple, and we'll go over these in a second as well. So look again at the extracts in exercise B. Underline all the present simple verbs and circle all the past simple verbs. Click once to underline and click twice to circle. Okay, so let's listen to that one more time. So for all the present simple verbs that we find, we want to make sure that we underline those. So drama is a very important subject. Obviously, is right here is a present simple. So I'll underline that. What else do we have? Children learn. I'm going to underline that. A lot about themselves in drama. Most secondary schools in Britain have, so the word have is present simple, so I'll underline that, drama classes. Some children take, I'm going to underline that, examinations in drama at GCSE or A level. Okay? Let's take a look at the second part. Notice how this is very similar to exercise B because we're talking about general facts and then we're talking about your own experiences in the past. So I took drama for GCSE. I'm going to underline that because this is past simple and he wants us to circle the past simple verbs. So I took drama for GCSE. We did, I'm going to circle did, a lot of drama games, and we put, the word put again, present or past simple, put on a play every term. I was, remember I said is turns to was, so I'll circle that. I was the main person in one of the plays. I wasn't very good, so I'll say wasn't very good, but I had, circle had as well, but I had a lot of fun. I got, the word got, I'm going to circle that, I got a good pass in the examination. All right? So again, one more time, all the words here that are in the present simple, we have is, learn, have, and take. And for the past simple, we have took, did, put, was, wasn't, had, and got. All right, now let's move on to exercise E, making general statements. All right, what do we have here? Read the facts below about the education system in Britain and give a general fact about the education system in your country. Okay, so the answers here are going to be up to you, but you do have to follow the same style that I'm going to be writing in. I mean, we're going to be giving general facts, so we're probably going to be using, like we said, present simple. However, you can give, your own facts about your own country. So, for example, we have Britain has 4 kinds of school. My own, I'll say Saudi Arabia has, I'll say 3. Yeah, has 3 kinds of school. They are nursery, primary, secondary, and sixth form. For my own, I'll say they are primary, and then I'll say middle and secondary. Okay. 3. Many British children start school at 4 or 5. I'll say Saudi children start school at, I'll say around 6. Yeah, so at 6. Education is compulsory up to the age of 16. In Saudi Arabia, we'll say that education is compulsory up to the age of 18. Pupils can leave school at 16. Saudi Arabia will say pupils can leave school after 18. Okay. 6. Many pupils go on to sixth form. Okay. Many pupils go on to sixth form. For that, we'll say something along the lines of once pupils finish secondary school, we'll say they move to college. So, read that one more time for you. Actually, let me add a full stop here. So, once pupils finish secondary school, oh wow, I just messed that up, huh? Let me write that again. So, once pupils finish secondary school, they move to college. Okay? There are exams called A-levels at 18. So for that, I'll say there are exams called, we'll say something. No, actually, I'm going to write that in singular. So I'll say there is an exam called GAT. I'm pretty sure you guys know what that is. It's called the General Aptitude Test. And an exam called Tahsili. Okay? I'm going to write it this way. Okay, so there's an exam called GAT and an exam called Tahsili. For 8, we have 50% of pupils go on to university. I'll say about 90%, so 90% of pupils go on to university. Okay, so let's read all of these one more time. Saudi Arabia has 3 kinds of school. They are primary, middle, and secondary. Saudi children start school at 6. Education is compulsory up to the age of 18. Pupils can leave school after 18. Once pupils finish secondary school, they move to college. There's an exam called GAT, also known as General Aptitude Test, and an exam called Tahsili. Then we have 90% of pupils go on to university. Okay, so this was exercise E. Now let's move on to exercise F. Okay, so let's go to exercise F, making negative general statements. Alright, so we're just going to basically turn these sentences to negative instead of positive. So children take exams at 16. I'll simply say children don't take exams at 16. It's as simple as that, you guys. So children don't take exams at 16. 2, we have many types of school. What's supposed to be schools? Okay, actually it's supposed to be school. So we have many types of school. We'll say we don't have many types of school. Okay. Number 3, children start school at 5. I'll say children don't start school at 5. Secondary school lasts 6 years. I'll say, let me write that in capital. Secondary school doesn't last 6 years. Okay, let's go to number 5. The school day ends at 4 p.m. I'll say the school day doesn't end at 4 p.m. And I'll say p dot m and then full stop. So the school day doesn't end at 4 p.m. Now let's go to number 6. Some children go to nursery school before primary school. So I'll just say some children, how do I say this? Some children don't. I keep writing T instead of R. Interesting. Children don't go to nursery school before primary school. So some children don't go to nursery school before primary school. Okay. And that was exercise F. So basically turning positive sentences into negative. Now let's go to exercise G. Here we have asking questions about general facts. Let me turn this off. So ask 2 questions about each piece of information in exercise F. So here we have children take exams at 16. We're going to have to ask 2 questions so we can get this answer. We want a yes or no question, so an answer or a question that can be answered with yes or no, and a normal question that uses what, when, where, how long, or how many. So let's take a look at number 1, for example. Do children take exams at 16? You could say yes, no, and that's it. That's a yes or no question. But a normal question is, when do children take exams? Which your reply would probably be, children take exams at 16. Okay, let's look at the second phrase. We have, okay, so we have many types of school. How do I say this? For a yes or no question, I'll start with do. Always start with do. So I'll say, do you have many types of school? And then question mark, obviously. So do you have many types of school? I could say either yes or no as an answer. Now for a normal question, I'll say, how many types of school do you have? And then question mark. That's a normal question. That's a yes or no question. Let's go to number 3. Children start school at 5. I'll say, do children start school at 5? Question mark. That's a yes or no question. And for a normal question, I'll say, when do children start school? Okay, so when do children start school? I could say they start school, or children start school at 5. Do children start school at 5? Yes or no, etc. So 4, what do we have first? Secondary school lasts 6 years. So I'll say, does secondary school last 6 years? And then question mark. So does secondary school last 6 years? And for a normal question, I'll say, how long does secondary school last? Secondary. How long? Okay, man. So I'll just add an A right here. So how long does secondary school last? Let's go to number 5. The school day ends at 4 p.m. For 5, I'll say, does the school day end at, what was it, 4 or 5? 4. Okay, so 4. Actually, I'm going to write it like so. I'm going to get rid of this. I'll write it like so. Yeah, I'm just checking to make sure. PM. Okay, so does the school day end at 4 p.m.? Actually, I'm supposed to write normal dot here. This dot is not a full stop, by the way. This is just how you write PM. As you can see, I wrote the question mark. So does the school day end at 4 p.m.? Yes or no? And for a normal question, we'll say, when does the school day end? Question mark. Okay, finally, let's go to number 6. Some children go to nursery school before primary school. So I'll say, do some, let me get this out of the way. Do some children go to nursery school before primary school, and then question mark. That's a yes or no question. And for a normal question, we'll say, where do some children go before primary school? And then question mark, to where you can, which you can reply by saying they go to nursery school. Okay, so that was exercise G. And I think that's it for this page. Now let's move on, you guys. Okay, you guys, so now let's move on to exercise H. Here we have making statements about the past. Let me take a look here. So write was or where in each space. As you guys know, we use was when it's the past tense of is, so for singular, and where when it's for multiple people. So my father dash a teacher. I'll say was a teacher because your father is one person. He dash head of department in a secondary school. He, again, was because he is one person. My parents dash at the same school as children. My parents were at the same school as children because my parents, that'll be two. D, I dash often late for school. For I'll say I was often late for school. My brothers dash good at sports. I'll say my brothers were good at sports. And they dashn't good at maths. We'll say they weren't. Okay, they weren't, and then you have the N apostrophe T, good at maths. So they weren't good at maths. Then you have 2, make a yes or no question about each piece of information above. So notice how we have, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6. We're going to be writing 6 yes or no questions for every sentence that we have here. So let's start with 1. My father was a teacher. So for yes or no, I'll say, was your father a teacher? And question mark. Was your father a teacher? Yes, he was. No, he wasn't. That's a yes or no question. Okay. He was head of department in a secondary school. So we'll say, was he head of department in a secondary school? Question mark. Was he head of department in a secondary school? What's the third one? My parents were at the same school as children. Okay, were your parents... Notice how I'm using was when it's one person and were when it's multiple. Okay, keep that in mind, even in yes or no questions. So were your parents at... your parents at the same school as children? Question mark. D, I was often late for school. Were you... I can't... By the way, you guys, I know that I is one person, but I can't use the word was with you. Notice how when I'm asking questions, I'll say, are you sick? I never say, is you sick? That's the same thing that applies when it's in the past. So I can't say, was you late for school? But I can say, were you late for school? Okay? Just something that you guys have to keep in mind, especially in the future when you start talking and writing as well. So were you, I'll say often late for school? And it's question mark. So were you often late for school? And my brothers were good at sports. Were your brothers good at sports? Question mark. Were your brothers good at sports? And finally, F, they weren't good at maths. We'll say, I'm asking a question, so I'll say, were they good at maths? Question mark. Okay, so let's do that one more. Let's take a look one more time. So was your father a teacher? Was he head of department in a secondary school? Were your parents at the same school as children? Were you often late for school? Were your brothers good at sports? And were they good at maths? Actually, I'm going to get rid of this S right here. So were they good at math? Okay, so that was exercise H. Now let's take a look at exercise I, making statements about the past too. So read each fact about the education system in Britain. This is the same one that we reviewed in the previous page. And give true information about your own education in the past tense. Again, this will be up to you, but you have to give true information about your own education. So I'm gonna be talking about my own personal information here in the past tense. Remember, in the past, okay? So many British children start school at 4 or 5. For me, I'll say I started, okay, because it's in the past, school at 4. It's a true story, I did. So 2, many British children like their first school. I'll say I liked my first school. Pupils take exams at 16. I took exams at 17. Okay? Many pupils don't like doing exams. I mean, that's true. I didn't like taking exams. Okay? Some pupils leave school at 16. I'll say I left school at 18, at the age of 18. Most pupils stay at school up to the age of 18. I stayed at school. Again, I stayed at school until I was 18. Okay? I stayed at school until I was 18. So one more time, I started school at 4. I liked my first school. I took exams at 17. I didn't like taking exams. I left school at the age of, I didn't like, I'll say doing, I think doing fits here a little bit better. So I didn't like doing exams. I left school at the age of 18, and I stayed at school until I was 18. Okay? Yep. Okay, now let's take a look at the final exercise. We have making past tenses, exercise J. I'm going to turn this off. Okay, so write the past tense of each regular verb. So you guys see these verbs? We're just going to change them from present to past. So things like and start, we're going to obviously add D or ED to make them in the past. And then tick the past tense word with an extra syllable. Now, once this becomes past, we're going to say it out loud, and if it has an extra syllable, then we're just going to tick it like so. Okay? So let's take a look. So the word start is going to be started, and like will be liked, want will be wanted, open will be opened, listen will be listened. Okay? Call becomes called in the past. Last becomes lasted. Okay? F becomes finished. Stay becomes stayed. Try becomes tried. I got rid of the Y and I added IED. Excuse me. Treat becomes treated. Treated. And marry becomes married. I got rid of the Y and added IED. Okay, so for most of these, you're just going to add an ED or D, or if it has a Y, like try and marry, then you get rid of the Y and add I and then ED as well. Okay, now let's go over all of these, and if we see an if we notice an extra syllable, we're just going to tick it. So the word started, it has the word start and then ED, so started, that's an extra syllable, so we'll tick that. Liked, again, it looks like it's one word, so no. Wanted, again, just like started. So want and then ED, wanted. So that's 2 syllables. I'm going to tick that. Opened, not really, no. Listened, not really. Called, no, it's just one word. Lasted, okay, lasted is just like wanted. It's just like started, okay? So for lasted, we're going to tick it. It has an extra syllable. Finished, nope. Stayed, no. Tried, nope. And then you have treated. Treated has, again, an extra syllable. Treat and then id. So treated. Again, I'll take that. And then finally, we have married, not at all. Okay, so how many is that? 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have started, wanted, lasted, and treated. Okay, so I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. So what else do we have? Okay, so it looks like we're done with the speaking section. Thank you guys for tuning into the video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.